What's up, everybody? This is Dominic D'Angelo. It's a tremendous Tuesday, maybe a terrific Tuesday, maybe a tantalizing Tuesday, but it is Rumor and Innuendo, and we're on ad-free shows. I'm here with Robert Karpelis, WE creative_ish on X, former WE writer, and hey, we got some Raw to talk about, Robert, but maybe a little bit more too if we have time.
We got Raw, we got AEW, we got a lot of things to talk about. So we don't have time for Dom's weird alliteration at the start of this week's episode. Today's episode, weekly, it's a daily show, guys. We're here literally every day, Monday through Friday at noon Eastern. We thank you guys for joining us live. We're going to say a quick hi to Alt Jake. Good morning, Rumorites. Happy Tuesday. We have really not settled on what the proper terminology is for our Rumor and Innuendo faithful.
Yes.
I know.
Rumor Heads yesterday. Rumor Heads was yesterday, and then
Rumor Heads was yesterday. It's working. I mean, look, at Working Stiff, they're the Forbidden Dorks.
Hard-ons. We could be the hard-ons. No,
it's too early. It's too early for that in this episode. We got another sponsor to talk about later on as well. That's right, guys. A new ad read for me. What a show! What a show last night. Monday Night Raw.
Robert, it's a lot of fun. I watched it all this morning, and I just really enjoy the overall product, what Monday night brings to pro wrestling. And it was a fun ride. Let's get to it. I'll do my darndest to do it in chronological order. We had Rhea, Dom, and Liv open the whole show. And I really love this segment. It really affirmed how great of a heel Dom is. He's like chewing gum and just standing there and kind of just saying like this adolescent like BS that Rhea reads right through. And Rhea is so great at the comebacks and what she had to say. And then we had Damian Priest show up behind both of them. And then complete chaos ensued. I really like this opening segment. Robert, what did you think?
Man, you paint a picture with words, Dom. It's a thing of beauty. And a shout out here from Jennifer V, who says love alliteration. So clearly one person here is into your weird alliteration. Look, this was perfect. They didn't get Rhea's response last week during Raw, so we still had somewhere to go. Obviously, she was irate. We didn't get into the nuts and bolts of it, that there was a very human response or reaction that, hey, I'm not thrilled about what happened, but at least I shed a lot of this dead weight. Liv and Dom being up at the top of the ramp near the vomitorium, and Dom using the logic that, you heard right here first on Rumor and Innuendo. I said a few weeks ago, you were going to see that turn in part because of the daddy mommy factor, but more importantly, because Liv is the person that helped Dominic Mysterio beat Rey. And that match was going to have importance. It was going to resonate throughout the story. We are in a brave new world here, kids, where things that happen on WWE programming actually kind of matter. So
what was neat? Oh, yeah. What was neat about it too, Robert, is like Rhea completely didn't dismiss her whole relationship with Dom either. She kind of added value to what she did for Dom, and like kind of like was like, I'm proud of you, but and you get to say what you want, but this is going to be the last thing you get to say, unfortunately. So it furthered the proponent that she is scorned by him, but also enjoyed the fact that, like, hey, that was a genuine thing between those two from a storyline standpoint.
Also, a great dig at the whole, yes, she helped you win. I would have liked to have been there to see you beat him on your own.
Yeah.
Like, just such a fun little, like, yes, she's mommy, quote unquote, but once she becomes a mom, once she becomes a parent, if you can master that level of just like surgical precision, she's going to obliterate. If this is the morphing of Rhea Ripley from mommy to Jewish mom, I'm here for it, because that will be amazing. Priest showing up behind them like a monster, brawling through the concession stand like we're in Memphis, or Tupelo, actually, I believe was the actual. Memphis did it a lot. The fact that it led to Carlito being in the ring. And kids, I hope you're sitting down. I hope wherever you are right now, if you're listening to this while you're jogging or running, which I know some of you do, you're going to want to find a bench. Carlito took some bumps.
He did.
That was our opening match, Dom. What'd you think of it?
I liked it. I think it just furthers the aspect of Damian Priest really rising more so to like being a top baby face in the company overall. And somebody that other fans maybe that aren't into Cody, maybe aren't into CM Punk even, can hang their hats on with Damian Priest. And I think he's like a good alternative baby face for people to choose from. And I think he's going to really, that's going to further. I think him being a heel and showing his organic ability to kind of convey himself still through that, despite, having a group around him, I think spoke to him. And now it's going to be a little bit more now that he's on his own and has a friendship with Rhea still.
I like the little touches here. I like the fact that, to your point, this was Damian Priest full-on babyface against Carlito, which is not something we've really had a chance to truly sink our teeth into. And he worked like a full-on babyface. The post-match, Jaden McDonough running out, then the rest of Judgment Day, it becoming a numbers game until Rhea Ripley showed up to kind of even things up a little bit. And the moment where you thought that Priest was going to finally get his hands on Finn Balor and McDonough takes the bullet for him, they're really moment by moment balancing out these stories to get you where you needed to be, to the point where after this first 20 or 25 minutes or so of Raw, I'm excited for a mixed tag match.
Right. They got you amped up for it. I love, too, the spot with Dominic diving and then Damien just grabbing him by the neck and already having him. It's really just well done stuff. I think it elevated everybody that was involved, and that's ultimately what you want to get out of a storyline, and especially an opening storyline for a show. So I really liked it, Robert. Also, what I liked, the inclusion of Odyssey Jones and the slow drip of the tension between Xavier Woods and the New Day. We had Odyssey Jones.
Can you promise me to never say slow drip again? It's very unsettling. I did. That is not a Blue Chew lead-in. No. I'm genuinely disturbed by that.
I'll try to hinder my vernacular by saying, what do you think of Vincent Winey, Robert?
Vincent Winey got a graphic. He got a lower third graphic. So that dude is destined for success. Yes, that's one of those just great names that they're going to have fun with in the back. Odyssey Jones, the crowd not as over the top enthused for Odyssey Jones as they were last week, but I think they need a little bit of time. I think they're going to get there. And I think the crowd is also sensing that tension between Kofi and Xavier Woods. And it's potentially going to backfire onto Odyssey Jones a little bit. I'm curious how this is going to wind up playing out. I did like Karrion Kross coming out there with the returning beard.
Yes.
They heard us, Dom, and they were like, you know what that dude needs? He needs to bring the facial hair back. I thought it was a nice moment where we get into default wrestling mode of, you guys want to settle this next week? It's going to be a tag match. Then Kofi's like, tag match? It's going to be a 6-man. And you're like, oh, no, is there a little bit of, and they make that noise. If you make that noise, you don't have to talk at a booking meeting. You just go, and then, and then it's written. It's one of the secrets of wrestling. You don't need Carney. You don't need kayfabe gimmick Fernum Snavitz. You just need to and you're good.
I liked it a lot. I love that they're positioning both these factions, quote unquote, about them being at odds, and then tension within the one, and then the mind games that Karrion Kross is doing, plus the nice little tribute Paul Erling had for Kevin Sullivan.
There's a comment here from Lou. 4237. Does Woods turn on Kofi during the 6-man tag next week, or too soon? Maybe a step off the apron, refuse to tag. I think the finish here is most likely going to be blind tag. Woods gets tagged out by Odyssey. Odyssey comes in, gets the pin. So we're celebrating, hey, we won. And Woods is kind of like, that was going to be my pinfall.
We're going to be mine.
Yes. Ironically enough, Raw next week down here in Fort Lauderdale.
You gonna go, Robert?
I don't know.
Go.
No, the effort it takes for me to actually leave my house, that's a lot. I don't want to have to. You got to drive down there. I used to work at that building. It's a whole thing. I'll see. You know what? The radio play-by-play guy for the Florida Panthers, Doug Plagans, happens to be a huge WWE fan. He had talked about possibly going. We're also both mutually friends with Jackie Redmond, so it might be fun to go see her. I would only go, honestly. I want to go see Pat. I want to go. I want to go see Pat. I'd like to go see Drew, and if Randy's there, because Orton and I go way back. We go back 19 years. Orton on Raw talking about going back 20 years. Dom.
Yes. This was such a great segment.
I jumped the gun a little bit. I realized we weren't at the Orton moment, but it was there.
It was there, and you set it up perfectly, Robert. And I think addressing it furthers that point. Gunther and Randy Orton. Randy, matter of fact, really kind of laid back and has that cool anti-hero vibe to him that the fans have already been attracted to. And then you get Gunther kind of like kneeling him a little bit, saying like, you're one of the greatest, but you could have been the greatest. And then you add to the fact too, he starts calling him a screw up, but not only that, starts calling his grandfather a screw up and his dad a screw up. And it just picks at Orton until finally he catches him out of nowhere when Drew McIntyre comes out. I love this. Really sets up the stakes and raises it for Bash at Berlin. And it's positioning Gunther so very well, I think, in this.
It positioned everybody perfectly. Orton, everybody likes Orton as a heel. Orton it's the most natural thing for him. When he's a babyface, it's sneakily one of the most fun things in wrestling.
It is.
He is just a dude who does not give a damn.
Yeah.
And it's kind of very close to the real Randy Orton. It's all about him trying to pop himself. And that's what matters, being able to get in my smoking hot wife or my smoke show of a wife. Yes, the narrative that he was a problem child can confirm. That's all I'll say. My relationship with Randy Orton during my time at WWE versus my relationship post WWE, two very different things. He was a little bit of a wild child back then, a little bit of a running hot, but that locker room back then was a little bit of a rough crew.
RVD can attest to that too, as well, when it comes to Randy Orton.
Yes, Cowboy Bob can, because we put Cowboy Bob on the road to babysit Randy, to kind of be like, slow this thing down, and not to say that he was a screw up. That was what led to the whole Hep C thing with Taker, but that's neither here nor there. The fact that you're bringing in the familial legacy, the fact that you're talking about how you're the biggest screw up that there is, forwarding this idea of now this is personal, which, our friends at AEW can definitely learn from. Orton hitting the RKO on Gunther, which was a nice little touch. Drew coming out to remind people there are other people contending for that title. We read a litany of names a couple weeks ago about who could be going for it. And then Punk showing up with the belt. It was a real belt. Relax, kids. Some of you are like, title. No, it was his. It was,
he hit him with the title, Robert?
He hit him with Drew. He hit him with Drew's belt. I feel like we're going to wind up getting some kind of a I want to say Indian strap match, but I don't know if that's still politically
Yappa Pie. Let's do a Yappa Pie strap match.
Yes, we'll bring out the Yappa Pie strap match. That's kind of feels like where that's going there. Punk was like the least impressive part of this segment, which I'm okay with, because Punk is the guy who has the shortest runway going forward. Whether that is the potential for injury, the potential for behavioral upheaval, or just time. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think overall I really liked it. I didn't think, in our group text we were saying and me not watching Raw, I was like, did Punk say something weird or anything like that, or what happened exactly? I thought he was just fine. I thought it was a-okay. Like even the interview afterwards and stuff like that was okay. But
you know what it is? It's just a-okay. Punk becomes disappointing. To keep this within the nerd realm for some of y'all, the current phase of Marvel films since Endgame has been disappointing to people. However, when you compare those to the movies that we got in the early 2000s, these are all tremendous movies when compared to a Daredevil or Ghost Rider or Elektra or Punisher or Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer. We could keep this going for a very long time. So it becomes an unfair comparison because it is a higher bar for Punk to have to clear. But Punk just kind of being the generic baby face and the guy like, don't talk about my dog. I don't know why I'm doing this voice.
What's going on here, Robert?
I don't know what's going on.
Is this your Fort Lauderdale voice?
No, first of all, Fort Lauderdale is not the South. There's a very strange geographical phenomenon with Florida that the further south you go, the further north you wind up going. So once you enter like Palm Beach County, Miami-Dade, Broward, that area, it's all to some extent kind of an extension of Long Island. The further north you go, you get into Orlando, Tampa, Tallahassee, Jacksonville, a little bit further south.
A little bit further south when you go.
That's all I'm gonna say. We're not getting into Florida geography here. What we are getting into is I'm trying to find the next segment because I jumped
We
around.
have
You lead the way, man. I've broke my own rule of sticking with within.
Don't call me Butch. Attacking Sheamus after Sheamus had a little confrontation with Ludwig Kaiser, which I thought was great. I mean, like, Sheamus is that good kind of upper mid card baby face. I think that's like, fans can still get behind because he has a legacy now. But then you got this new introduction of Ludwig Kaiser as this like meddling heel and very and I was surprised to see him like mashed up height to height, and they're basically the same. So but either way, Pete Dunne is not. He attacked Sheamus and further that storyline. I thought was good. They're covering all the bases here, Robert, and I like it.
It's worked. You know what? You're giving your mid card something to talk about. The idea that Pete Dunne is pissed about being called Butch when he rightfully was pissed. It had nothing to do with Sheamus. And let's turn it into a storyline. Let's point out stupid things we've done. This is sort of the modern equivalent of pointing out that Kofi Kingston had a Jamaican accent at one point in time in the past. So I do love that. I love where we're going with that match. I love the fact that we got the Alpha Academy American Made segment where we finally aligned Ivy Nile with that group, and seeing Gable in Paris, who was obviously there for the Olympics. Good all around. Crowd was super into that Texas Tornado match.
Yeah.
They loved it. I thought that was great. And guys, speaking of American Made, I know we have a brand new sponsor here on Rumor and Innuendo. And guys, as you know, this show is only 30 minutes long. You know what the most valuable thing on this show is? Time. And the most important thing when it comes to time is managing and worrying about body odor, because that used to take a lot of time out of my day, a lot of time out of Dom's day. I only got so much time in the morning to get ready. I got to get the kids out the door. I got to get ready for work. I got to make sure that I'm plugged in and ready so that I am here at noon being able to talk to you guys for Rumor and Innuendo. And living in Florida, where it is 98 degrees outside, I walk my kids to school, I come back, I'm paranoid about smelling, especially as I get out of the middle of the day. And all that can be really, really time consuming. We don't have that time for that. I don't have to worry about that anymore because I switched to Mando, whole body deodorant. They sent a box to my house. Dude, this thing has been a game changer. This means more time than I have to sit here and watch wrestling and talk about it with you guys. Here's why. There was a colon there. Reading comprehension, guys. Mando doesn't just cover up odor after the fact with heavy fragrances like certain other deodorants. It stops odor at the source by blocking the bacteria on your skin from eating your sweat. Hope you guys aren't eating lunch while I'm talking about this. That eating of your sweat is what actually causes BO. What does that mean? It means Mando is clinically proven to control odor for up to 72 hours. That's a long time. That is longer than how it felt sitting through a 3-hour Thunderdome episode of Raw. So give yourself the precious gift of time and get yourself some Mando whole body deodorant. We have a special offer for new customers. You get $5 off Mando's best-selling starter pack with code RUMOR at shopmando.com. Like I said, I got my shipment this weekend. There's a bourbon leather body wash. Ooh. I did not know this was going to be in there. That has become the home run. That is a 5-star scent, a real 5-star scent, not like when Meltzer gives every Kenny Omega match 15, 16 stars. All right, this is a whole body deodorant. It is seriously safe to use anywhere on your body. Dom has way too much of his body exposed right now.
All over here.
You can put it on almost every inch of what you see. We can still keep our PG rating. This was created by doctors who saw firsthand how normal BO is being misdiagnosed and mistreated like Ricky Starks in AEW. It is aluminum-free. It is baking soda-free, cruelty-free, dye-free, vegan. Please don't eat it. But it's clinically proven to control body odor better than shower with soap alone. And if you have been to a wrestling show, one of the reasons why I might not be going next week is I don't know that the majority of the fans there are going to have Mando in their hands before them. But guys, you get Mando on you, I will gladly show up at your wrestling event. The Mando Starter Pack is perfect for new customers, comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 extra free products of your choice. You can choose that mini body wash, which does have that bourbon leather smell, which is amazing. It's also deodorant wipes, which are great to have walking around. I know when I used to carry around the baby bag, you always wind up needing that kind of stuff. More importantly, you're going to get free shipping. And again, I have a discount code to help get you hooked up on my new favorite smelling whole body deodorant. New customers get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code. That equates to over 40% off. Let's not make you guys do any further math. All you need to do is use code RUMOR at shopmando.com. That is SHOPMANDO.com. They make me spell it because they know Dom is my co-host.
That's correct. Yes.
Thank you, Mando, for sponsoring this show.
I got the Mount Fuji, and it smells great too. So lots of different scents. You're gonna smell good. Hey, feel good when you go to a wrestling show.
I was saving the Fuji one for tomorrow.
Oh, were you? Dang.
Yes, but don't worry, I'm not going to do the Mr. Fuji impression.
Oh my God,
we're not getting canceled on day 2. Or one of my old coworkers at WWE, Russ Bacon, great camera guy, great production guy. Whenever we're watching old clips, he go, "Hey, any footage of that dick to go?" Every day comes out there. Loved him some dick to go. You know what I loved?
What did you love, Robert?
Big Bronson Reed.
Man, we were texting about this, Robert.
What?
It is so
right here. I like how you feel like you have to like redirect me, like I'm the kid in class not paying attention.
I'm using your name for emphasis on the levity.
Oh, you're emphasizing it. Okay, emphasizing it.
Yes, I really liked what they're doing with Bronson Reed. It speaks to Triple H, what you were saying in the text too. What he knows what he's doing. It's amazing. It's just good work, and it builds confidence. And maybe for stars that we're not seeing really have the spotlight shown on them at the moment in time. So it speaks to that potential later on. But we're getting a perfect example of building literally a big new star in Bronson Reed.
This is what's the most impressive about this. Bronson Reed was a guy who's been written off twice now by the WWE. And they have gotten him over to a point where that audience was white hot when he was going up there for the tsunamis. Before he even hit the first tsunami on Miz, when he had Miz in position for it, they were going nuts.
Yeah.
The audience is fully bought into what's going on here. You cannot overstate how amazing the job Triple H is doing in this role. This was thrilling. Yes, you squash Miz. You put up all of his accolades on there. He's won a bunch of titles. He's been around forever. You can not only beat him, but beat him and tie it into their sponsorship with the MTV Challenge reality show.
That's right.
And squashing truth is always going to get people angry. We got time for one more match, and hell of a match for the main event of Raw. Dom.
Absolutely, a lot of fun. I was interested to see how are they going to book it out.
Did you want to tell them what that match was, Dom?
Oh yes, it was the 2 out of 3 falls. Sami Zayn versus Braun Breaker. R-Truth made that mistake too for the Intercontinental Championship. And before we got to it, we had Jey Uso and Sami have a little segment backstage, which I thought was great too, further the friendship there. But then we get the match. Curious how they were going to lay it out. Sami gets the first pinfall. Bronson gets the next 2. Braun gets the next 2. That's going to be tough for me. And I thought it was great. I thought that everybody benefited again from this main event. And yet again, we close another Raw with Braun Breaker standing tall. It's been a common occurrence around these parts.
Hell of a match. It was exactly what we talked about yesterday. Gives Sami Zayn a chance to get a pin, which he did. He hit the haluva kick. He got the pin on Braun Breaker. It then became Braun fighting from underneath, which is not a position you typically have from him. And he needed to up his intensity. The way he threw Sami like a lawn dart, like not quite at Rey Mysterio, Kevin Nash levels, but good enough that that'll be in video packages for a while. And kudos to the production team. 3 different camera angles all set up for that spot. That was well thought out, well planned in advance. I really appreciated that. The final spear being the super spear, I guess, coming off the top rope, that it took everything in him to beat Sami. It was really good. I did appreciate the little tease before the match. Jey Uso and Sammy getting pumped up, and Jey again talking about the tag titles. And Sammy's enthusiasm seemed a little less than over the top for that. It got a muted yeet, if you
Oh,
will.
it did. It kind of did. I was thinking it was focused, though. I thought it was dialed in a little bit. We'll see what happens, though. Fun
We'll
Raw.
see.
A lot of fun. Can't wait for next week again. It's been good stuff.
Can't wait for next week again. Can't wait tomorrow night. We've got the Dynamite, but I think we do have a little bit of AEW news to close out this show here,
Yes,
Mr.
Robert.
D'Angelo.
Boy, it is a doozy. Britt Baker, MJF, that's been the ongoing off-air drama for the AEW. According to Fightful, the details are he said, she said at this point, but we're told there were a confrontation between Britt Baker approaching Alicia Toot. Heard all about that stuff. It was alleged that MJF barged in. That was not the case. He ended up knocking on the door. She invited him in. They had their conversation, and MJF ended up punching a wall. But in an interview that MJF had, he was asked about this, and he said, I don't have to like all my coworkers, and that's fine. Tell me if this passes the smell test. I barge into a women's locker room. I scream in the face of a 110-pound woman and then physically threaten her by punching a wall in her vicinity. I don't get suspended. Does that pass the smell test to you? Almost everything that was written didn't happen. So, yeah, Robert, MJF addresses it. You really don't have to like all your coworkers. You don't. There's plenty of people.
That's how this show works.
Oh, is it? Okay.
No.
Who else works here, Robert?
There's a point. It depends on whether or not you remember to post this week's episode. But I kid. We love Dom. But put a pin in that for a moment. Look, MJF's argument is salient. The idea that, yes, if he would have barged into a women's locker room and started yelling and screaming, you would think he would be suspended. On the other hand, it is AEW. Crazier things have gone by the wayside without any sort of action. But I tend to believe that, yes, he was invited in. They had an airing of grievances. They clearly have a disagreement on how they view things. Given how successful MJF was with Adam Cole during their brochacho phase, it is a little odd to see. But then again, there seems to be some rumor and innuendo about the status of Britt Baker and Adam Cole. Mm-hmm. We know nothing. We're not commenting on that at all. But, you hear things somewhere, and all of a sudden you start looking at these puzzle pieces and step back and wonder, in this chapter of the death of AEW that Brian Alvarez will wind up probably writing someday, will this be a factor? I think this was good damage control on his part. He did say further in that interview he's excited for the Mercedes Moné Britt Baker match that we're going to get. So he turned it back into making money. He's very good at what he does, and Dom, you're very good at what you do.
Aw, thanks. Yeah.
No, not here. On other shows.
On other shows. Shows. You mean like One of a Kind with RVD? New episode just dropped yesterday called RVD Here Comes the Pain. And I called it that because we talk about video games and action figures. We also talk about what may be his greatest match. Or Rob's not a big into the favorites aspect, but he gives a reasoning to why a certain match might be his greatest match.
Well, you told us what it was yesterday, so I appreciate the reverse tease. That's great.
For the new listeners here.
You are a master of promotion. I will promote Working Stiff. That comes out usually Thursday, if Don remembers to post it, on anywhere that you get your podcast, iTunes, Spotify, and the like, which is the same place you can get the audio version of Rumor and Innuendo. In case you missed an episode, want to go back in the archives, those are there, or you can join us live every Monday through Friday at noon Eastern on a plethora of platforms, including the WW Creative _ish X account, the SE Scoops X account, and on YouTube on ad-free shows, Rumor and Innuendo, and Working Stiff. Don, we made it through another one, man.
We did. All in one piece, too, which is nice. It was a slow drip, though, Robert. I will say that.
No, you said it again. So, all right. On behalf of the human slow drip, Dominic D'Angelo, I'm Robert Karpelis. Best of luck in your future endeavors.
Tsunami, guys. Tsunami.